The 10 oldest ancient civilizations that have ever existed. In the course of human evolution, the practice of living in a group with mutual understanding and dependency has become a very useful and practical lifestyle, and from small isolated groups, larger communities have formed. Then came societies which in time became civilizations. How human mentality and psychology led to this development is still a popular topic among historians and anthropologists, and a major discussion for another day. For now, let's talk about some of the oldest civilizations to have ever existed in the world. We are talking about the civilizations that we know existed for real, unlike the ones that are shrouded in myth such as Atlantis, Lemuria, and Roma, to name a few. To correctly list the oldest civilizations in chronological order, it is necessary to go back to the very cradle of civilization. Here is a list of the top 10 oldest civilizations to have ever existed, starting with the most recent first. This video is divided into 2 parts. In part 1. Number 10. The Incan Civilization. Number 9. The Aztec Civilization. Number 8. The Roman Civilization. Number 7. The Persian Civilization. Number 6. The Ancient Greek Civilization. In part 2. Number 5. The Chinese Civilization. Number 4. The Maya Civilization. Number 3. The Ancient Egyptian Civilization. Number 2. The Indus Valley Civilization. Number 1. The Mesopotamian Civilization. Thanks for watching. Like and share my video. Subscribe my YouTube channel. Number 10. The Incan Civilization. Period, 1438 AD 1532 AD. Original location, present-day Peru. Current location, Ecuador, Peru, and Chile. Major highlights: largest empire in South America in the pre-Columbian era. The Incan Empire was the largest empire in South America in the pre-Columbian era. This civilization flourished in the areas of present-day Ecuador, Peru, and Chile, and had its administrative, military, and political center at Cusco, which lies in modern-day Peru. The Incan civilization was a well-established and flourishing society. The Incas were devout followers of the sun god Inti, and their king was referred to as Sapa Inca, meaning the child of the sun. The first Incan emperor, Pachacuti, transformed the capital from a modest village into a great city laid out in the shape of a puma. He continued to expand the tradition of ancestor worship. When the king died, his son would get all the power, but his wealth would be distributed among his other relatives, who in return would preserve his mummy and maintain his political influence. This led to a significant rise in the power of the Incas, who went on to become great builders, constructing fortresses and sites like Machu Picchu and the city of Cusco that still stand to this day. Number 9. The Aztec Civilization. Period, 1345 AD 1521 AD. Original location, South Central region of pre-Columbian Mexico. Current location, Mexico. Major highlights: Nahuatl became the major language. The Aztecs came onto the scene pretty much around the time when the Incas were emerging as powerful contenders in South America. Around the 1200s and early 1300s, the people in present-day Mexico lived in 3 big rival cities: Tenochtitlan, Texcoco, and Tlacopa. Around 1325, these rivals created an alliance and the new state came to dominate the Valley of Mexico. Back then, the people preferred the name Mexica to Aztecs. The rise of the Aztecs was within a century of the fall of another influential civilization in Mexico and Central America, the Mayans. The city of Tenochtitlan was the military power base and became a spearhead for the conquest of new territory, but the Aztec emperor didn't rule every city or region directly. Local governments remained in place and were forced to pay varying amounts of tribute to the Triple Alliance. In the early 1500s, the Aztec civilization was indeed at the height of its power. But then, the Spanish arrived. This led to a huge battle between the Incas and the Spanish conquistadors and the native allies they had assembled, led by the famous, or rather infamous, Hero Cortés in 1521. A defeat in this decisive battle eventually led to the fall of the once famous Aztec Empire. Number 8. The Roman Civilization. Period, 550 BC 465 AD. Original location, village of the Latii. Current location, Rome. Major highlights, most powerful ancient civilization. Roman civilization emerged around the 6th century BC. Even the story behind the foundation of ancient Rome is the stuff of legend and myth. At the height of its power, the Roman Empire ruled over a huge chunk of land, and all the present-day Mediterranean countries were part of ancient Rome. Early Rome was governed by kings, but after only 7 of them had ruled, the people took control over their own city and ruled themselves. They introduced a council known as the Senate which ruled over them. From this point, Rome was referred to as the Roman Republic. Rome also saw the rise and fall of some of the greatest emperors in human history, like Julius Caesar, Trajan, and Augustus. But eventually, the empire became so vast that it was simply not possible to bring it under single rule. In the end, the Roman Empire was overrun by millions of barbarians from the north and east of Europe. Number 7. The Persian Civilization. Period, 550 BC 331 BC. Original location, Egypt in the west to Turkey in the north, and through Mesopotamia to the Indus River in the east. Current location, modern-day Iran. Major highlights, Royal Road. There was a time when the ancient Persian civilization was, in fact, the most powerful empire in the world. Though only in power for a little over 200 years, the Persians conquered lands that covered over 2 million square miles. From the southern parts of Egypt to parts of Greece and east to parts of India, the Persian Empire was known for its military strength and wise rulers. Before they created such a vast empire in the space of just 200 years, before 550 BC, Persia, or Persis as it was called back then, was divided into factions among a number of leaders. But then King Cyrus II, who later on became known as Cyrus the Great, came into power and unified the entire Persian kingdom before going on to conquer ancient Babylon. In fact, his conquest was so rapid that by the end of 533 BC, he had already invaded India, far in the east. Even after Cyrus' death, his descendants continued this ruthless expansion and even fought in the now legendary battle with the brave Spartans. At its prime, ancient Persia ruled over all of Central Asia and Egypt. But this all changed when a legendary soldier of Macedon, Alexander the Great, brought the whole Persian Empire to its knees and effectively ended the civilization in 330 BC. Number 6. The Ancient Greek Civilization. Period, 2700 BC 479 BC. Original location, Italy, Sicily, North Africa, and as far west as France. Current location, Greece. Major highlights, concepts of democracy and the Senate, the Olympics. The ancient Greeks may not have been the oldest civilization, but they are doubtlessly one of the most influential. Even though the rise of ancient Greece came from the Cycladic and Minoan civilizations, 2700 BC 1500 BC, there is evidence of burials in the Phrakthy cave in Argolid, Greece, dating back to around 7250 BC. The history of this civilization is spread over such a long period of time that historians have divided it into different periods, the most popular of them being the Archaic, Classical, and Hellenistic periods. These periods saw a number of ancient Greeks come into the limelight, many of whom changed the world forever and are still being talked about to this day. Among other things, the Greeks invented the ancient Olympics, and formed the concept of democracy and the Senate. They laid the foundations for modern geometry, biology, and physics. Pythagoras, Archimedes, Socrates, Euclid, Plato, Aristotle, Alexander the Great. The history books are full of these names whose inventions, theories, beliefs, and heroics have had a significant impact on subsequent civilizations. Thanks for watching. Like and share my video. Subscribe my YouTube channel.